Welcome to the first episode of the LiveLife Real Estate Entrepreneurs Podcast. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a little while now. Finally got the Facebook group up, and I took some time to put the podcast together, get everything all set up so that I can kind of get this thing rolling, and spread this Live Life movement. This podcast, the group, it's for everybody. It's not just for, newbies or anything. It's for newbies, people that have done one or two deals, seasoned vets, people that, looking to get into different strategies, different types of investing, people that are already in different types of investing that, I can bring on as guests and, they could talk about their strategies, their experience, how they're doing things in the business, because real estate is just so lucrative. There's just so many different avenues you can take, ways you can do things. It's pretty crazy. There's just so many different ways to make money. And at the end of the day, that's really what we're in it for, right? And I'm not saying money as in a greed way. I'm just saying, with me, live life, I want to go live my life. And in order for me to live the life that I want to, I need to have lots of money. And I need to have a flexible schedule where I can leave and take 6 months off. It's not something that you can do with a normal, regular 9-to-5 job. So that's really why I got into the business, and I'm sure that's why a lot of other people in the business. So, it's all about being able to free up your life and make some money and really, do some good. I can't wait to have, a few guests on here to talk about, how they've been able to change their lives, motivate people, give some tips. I can't wait to watch some people who are just starting out on the podcast and just getting into the group, who are, brand new into real estate, watch them grow and hear their stories along the way. So I kind of wanted to just give a general, background on, kind of like how I did things. Obviously, I started off as a realtor, got my license when I was 21, and, I kind of been in real estate ever since. Was off for a few months, and then I ended up coming back. But I started off as a realtor working with first-time home buyers. I hated that. It was not fun. And then I learned about wholesaling, and, when I first learned about it, all the other realtors I knew, they told me it was shady. Don't get into it. Just get the listings. And, so I kind of just never really thought about it again. I just kind of brushed it off. I didn't, want to, look into it or, meet up. Someone wanted me to meet with them to, be a realtor for them to help them with deals or something. So I kind of brushed it off, and then working at a dealership, one of my boys sold a car to a guy, and I, was talking to the guy. He said he was a wholesaler, so it sparked my interest again, and it kind of got me back into it. I started researching it, and I got addicted. I started off with, just general wholesaling, putting properties under contract at, a discounted price and assigning them. And then, in my journeys of, searching for these distressed properties and, looking for potential deals, I was coming across, the first few ones that I came across, I had kind of walked away from because they, just didn't really fit the whole formula that they teach, the 70% ARV and all that. So I kind of just walked away and I didn't pursue them. I just said, I'm sorry, the numbers didn't work. I tried to get the listing on it to sell it as a realtor because I still got my license. But I walked away, and some of them I listed. And then it really kind of made me open up my eyes when I had lost. When I lost it, I say, but I had realized that I could have actually made $58,000 on one deal that I only ended up making $8,000 because I took the listing instead. And it really made me open up my eyes and start looking into wow, I should look at every single deal with an open mind and try to figure out different ways to make money, or even if there is money to be made on the deal, how do I is there a way for me to make more money on that deal? Once I, that was a big learning lesson because it really opened up my eyes, and I don't look at any deal the same way anymore. It's really changed my business. It's changed my approach. I got a method, and, me personally, I call it reverse wholesaling, because it's kind of, it's not the general wholesale method. It's kind of the opposite, and it's not listing the properties. It's finding on-market properties, but still getting them at a deeply discounted price, and assigning them over to a buyer, or even once you get to that level, keeping them for yourself and making profits that way, depending on how the numbers are. But I call it reverse wholesaling, and it's something that I, can do religiously in a bunch of different markets and, in my local market. Just, right on my computer. I'm not prospecting for any leads. It's just, finding the addresses and, contacting the person who has it listed and, explaining to them what I do. That's one strategy that I take, and I still do get, traditional wholesale deals where, they're pre-foreclosures or, vacant properties that my bird dogs that are driving for dollars are doing, sending into me, or, cold calling, just different lists that we pull and we text out and we call. We're still getting those traditional deals, but, the reverse wholesale is another way that I kind of go after and try to find more deals that are just right in your face that you wouldn't even think of even trying to go after. There's also so many different other methods that, people follow, like subject twos and, wraps and all that. And then, there's ways to get into cash flow as well, with Airbnbs and rentals. That's what this podcast and this group is really about. It's going to be about, it's everyone talking about different strategies they use, giving tips to people who are new people asking questions on what they should do, or, how to, make sure their numbers work. And I'm a big believer in, getting your knowledge up before you get too deep in. Because you don't want to start writing contracts and putting houses on the contract when you don't even know what the next step is. A lot of people doing this, they don't even understand how a real estate transaction works with, is your state require an attorney or just a title company? You got to get the water reading. You got to get smoke inspection from the fire department before the sale is completed. There's a lot of little things that go on from the time you write that offer to the closing table that need to be done so you can actually close. It's definitely important to, do a lot of research, listen to a lot of different people, ask people for advice, reach out. You can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram is at craig.livelifehomebuyer. Ask me a question, shoot me a DM. Glad to answer. Just try to get your knowledge up, on the basics of real estate, how a transaction works. Make sure you have good contracts that, an attorney has reviewed, understand earnest money deposits, understand your contracts before you go out and write offers, understand how to do market research, figuring out comps, how to run numbers on a house to make sure that your numbers even work before you put the property under contract. Because the worst thing is if you're putting a property under contract. This just happened to a woman that I'm trying to help right now. A wholesaler went out and put a property under contract back in November, and he had told her, she gave him 30 days to close. It was a cash deal. Gave him 30 days to close. So it was on November 22nd that he wrote it. So that they were supposed to close on December 22nd, or somewhere right around Christmas. And, she's going through, she thinks the sale's happening. She's happy. She's getting what she asked for. He had put it on the contract, and she didn't understand. She thought it was just his contractors coming by, bringing people into the house, looking at it. And, she brought a cleaning crew in with a dumpster to clean the house out, get all the stuff out of there. This woman's in her 80s, and she got the whole house cleaned out. And, she was ready to sell. And, come right around Christmas time, she was supposed to go on vacation to Poland. That's where she's from. And the sale never happened. Like, the guy never brought a buyer. He canceled the contract, and she was like screwed. She never went to Poland. She spent all the money trying to clean the house out, a lot of time. It really left a bad taste in her mouth. And she thought I was like, she had her guard up with me when we met with her. And me and my partner, we just had to talk to her and explain to her, this is what we do. We showed her pictures of the houses we flipped. And we just have to gain her trust and let her know that we can help. So, hopefully that's someone I can help. But just make sure know your numbers before you go in, so that you're not putting a property under contract that you can't assign, because, that's what happened to this guy. He put it on the contract for too much money, and he was trying to find a cash buyer that they're not going to buy it because it doesn't make sense, or he didn't even have any cash buyers. And he was just throwing it on Facebook and daisy chained or whatever. So, it's just really important, because you don't want to be messing with people. Like, imagine if that was someone living there, right? And they packed up their U-Haul and they were getting ready to move, and you didn't sell their house, right? Like, come on. That's just, imagine if someone did that to you. You don't want that. So I just think education and just understanding the foundation of real estate is super important for you to get started before you get too deep. And then once you got an idea and, you've asked enough questions and you've talked to, enough people, then go all in, get your process rolling. Like I said, start from the ground up, and, just start hustling. And once you get that first deal, it's a game changer. Your whole business will change once you get that first deal. As long as you know what you're doing and you know what you want to do with that money when you get it. Don't just get the money and blow it. You got to take that money and invest it, and really scale your business so that you can reach your ultimate goal. And like I said, mine is to live life, go travel the world, have time that I could take off, and have money coming in, and just move on to bigger things in real estate, too. So it's very important. And I just kind of wanted to have this podcast in the group to, be able to spread things like that and make sure that people are doing things the right way, and make sure people are, successfully, going towards the goal that they want to be at. And so that they don't, take 2 months out of their life or 3 or 4 months out of their life and spend a bunch of money on, systems and stuff, and then the business never, succeeds for them, and they wasted all their money, and now they got to go back and get another job. I mean, that's the last thing. That was my fear when I first got into it, and I kept telling myself every time that I got to that point, I was like, no, I can't go back to another job. I can't go back to another job, and I just kept pushing myself. And I wasted a lot of money up front, but I learned from it, and I kind of want to, if I can help people, not have to, go through the whole struggle that I did at the very beginning, then that's kind of one of my goals also. But the good thing for me was, I learned it very quick in the matter of like 2 weeks after I spent over $1,000. I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this. But things are good, and I'm hoping for a great 2020. I have huge goals this year. Really looking to blow the business up and start taking on bigger things, and really getting closer to that goal of living my life. So thank you for listening. I'm gonna have another episode tomorrow, and I look forward to talking to you guys. Thank you.